What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zcash today, ZEC USD. It is the 17th day of November today, and here we are at about $657 with 10 hours and 12 minutes left in this day. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. I'm assuming that anybody right now who's calling for this to be a double top, I'm assuming they're the same people who down here said Zcash was done, that was its run, now it's time to pull back. I'm assuming they're the same people. It's probably not going to happen, right? We're probably going to move higher. Here's my thoughts, right? This is not a double top. Maybe. Let's wait and see how it develops. It's possible, the potential's there, but as we look in the shorter term stuff, I think that it'll become clear that we do have higher to go. But just to show you real quick what a double top looks like, right? Like here, for example, right? This was more of a double top look, and what did you do? You rejected immediately, and that still wasn't even a double top, right? This still did not even, and you had a proper rejection like a double top would, and you still didn't even double top. Here you're consolidating. Here you've been up here for 3 days at an area that you rejected. You wicked once. I mean, look at it on the 4-hour time frame. We've just been consolidating here. This is not versus back here. That double top there was a direct rejection, and again, still that didn't even prevail. We look at a true double top. We go back in time. Let's just see here. Right here. Here's a double top. Right? Notice how on the double top part, you rejected immediately. There wasn't time for people to catch on that this was a double top and exit, right? That's what double tops are. It's a test of wanting to go higher, but nope, there's too much selling pressure. There's not enough demand, so we go lower, right? Same thing with the double bottom, actually. Let's see if we can find a double bottom here. I mean, that kind of works. It's kind of works, but that's not what I'm looking for. Let's just see if we can find something that's more appropriate. Yeah, like here. Right? Low here, low there, double bottom. Did you linger down here? No. You found direct support immediately, right? That's the only point that I'm trying to drive home, is that if this were to be a double top, we're doing it the wrong way. Doesn't mean that it can't happen. I mean, we could go lower, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did go lower from here, but I would be surprised if this was a true double top, and this is where this move stopped overall, and this sent us below $400, $300, whatever. This was our point at which we start to retrace. That to me doesn't make as much sense. It can happen. But let's look at the 1-hour time frame. We'll zoom out from there. Do keep in mind that each of these days here, everybody was thinking that Zcash, all 3 of these days here, everybody was thinking that Zcash was done, that it was going to go lower, because for the predominant part of each of those 3 days, it looked just like it does today. And then at the very end of the day, it came back up and pumped. So just understand where we are right now is not foreign territory. This is familiar, and we've been tested with this for the past few weeks now. I'm hoping that people pass this test and don't fail it. Although, to be completely fair, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, the reward here, the passing of this test will be less rewarding than any of these other ones, right? We don't have too much more to go, but I do think that we have more to go still. Looking at the 1-hour time frame, looking at the 1-hour time frame here, it does seem as though we're breaking out, right? Albeit with not a lot of volume. This is a pretty big candle for the amount of volume that we have. It's not that big of a candle, only 4.5%, but in an hour, it's not that big. Or it's pretty big for an hourly basis. The volume's not that big. 8 minutes left. This is probably the candle that we're going to have. I wouldn't be surprised if we went a little bit lower. Maybe we go all the way down to 630, 620. Maybe we even go below that low and we go down to $600 again. But I would assume that we're soon to find support. Looking at this RSI here, we are in a bit of a downtrend. Lower lows, lower highs. Typically, these downtrends end in the oversold zone. So maybe we bounce soon. Maybe we continue to go lower. But I would think that we go lower from here. Just how much lower is the question. Do we go below this low? Do we even go below $640? I don't know. A little bit lower, sure, than 657, sure. But how much lower? I don't know. The stochastics are oversold. And the MACD is actually reset, man. The oscillators, you see these oscillators here, the lines, right? They have come all the way back down to the 0. This is actually a perfect place to bounce, right? We bounced here before. We bounced here before. We didn't bounce here. You don't need to bounce, but it's very common to bounce at this area. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. And the thing is, with the MACD too, you can go a little bit below. So the blue line can go lower. The orange line can go lower. Even if you're bouncing below the 0, you can still technically bounce here. Like it's just like it's an area. It's not like a specific line that you find support at. It's more of like an area. So we are in this area of support. We've been building a lot of bearish momentum, and look at what it got us. It got us higher lows. It didn't get us anything, right? We just moved sideways. You've been building bearish momentum for a very long time. Whenever it's the bull's turn to run with this, they're going to do some work. They're going to put in some work. I think if this is the best that you can muster up, it's not good enough. Your best is not good enough. I want to see actually here. You do technically at the moment, technically, oh so slightly, have bullish divergence on your 1 hour MACD. Technically here, you do have bullish divergence. 4 hour time frame, looking at this right now, the MACD has crossed red. But again, when we're trending, a cross does not necessarily imply bearish things, right? It's like here, you were starting a downtrend. You had a lower high, lower low, right? You had a green cross. That didn't mean we were going to go higher. That was just a false cross when going lower. This could be a false cross when going higher. We've seen that happen here a couple of times, right? False cross right there, false cross right there. A little bit more of a cross, but still somewhat of a false cross there. We've seen these false crosses happen on our path to higher prices, and I think that's what this is here. I think that's what we're getting now. Stochastics are down at the oversold zone, perfect area to bounce. As we've seen, the blue line has literally bounced right off of this area several times throughout this whole endeavor. And the RSI is back at the 50, which also is an area that we like to bounce, whether it's just above, just below, right around, typically just below it seems. We're right there now. So no, I'm not bearish. I'd be more bearish if we had some volume kicking in to the downside, but we don't. I would expect, and I fully do expect that today being a negative 7.38% day, I expect that by the end of today, we're either going to close the day slightly red with a wick or more likely green with a wick to the downside. I do think that we will close today back above $700. This will be the first day, I think, out of all these days that will close above $700. That's my expectation. And if I'm wrong, if we close here, who cares? It's not that big of a deal. We can still pull back from here. We can go lower than these lows, find support, and then continue to move higher, because with that we will have a higher low. With that we'll have this kind of ascending triangle look. Right? Let's just imagine for a second, looking at the 4 hour time frame from a low to a high here, if we were to pull back, we could find support at $592, at $520 even. We could go all the way down there, still find support, and still come back up and move higher. So we talked about this yesterday, I think, if not the day before, that we did expect that we wouldn't just break through this in one fell swoop, that there would be a little bit of volatility. But the expectation here is one of two things. Either one, we get some volatility, we get a higher low and then we move up, or two, we just kind of consolidate in this area and then we break out. One of two, right? It's like here, for example. Here, we went up and then we went down and then we went up. Here, we just kind of consolidated in the area and then we went up, right? It's literally like one of those two things that we're going to see, and I do think that we're going to move up higher as a result of them. I want to look at the 4 hour time frame again. Did we look at? Yeah, we looked at all of them. Okay, cool. Daily time frame. We do have bearish divergence. That there is bearish divergence on the daily time frame. I think everybody can see that. But what most people don't know about bearish divergence, and let me just tell you right now, or I shouldn't say most people don't know this, maybe they know this but they just don't consider this, is that we still have 10 hours left in this day. This RSI only looks like bearish divergence now because we're pointed down. But if today closes green, we're pointed up. There's only bearish divergence confirmed once we get a red day. And just so you know, if we close today red, if we close today here, the bearish divergence is here between these 2 points, which is between these 2 points. Guess what? We've already made the move back to where the divergence started. We don't, even if we have bearish divergence on the daily time frame, even if we close today red, which I don't think we will, but even if we do, that does not signal a top here. Bearish divergence on the MACD, same thing. We might be building bullish momentum though. We'll see how it goes. I want to see how the end of the day closes. If the day closes here or lower, maybe I'll make another video. But even in that next video, I wouldn't, if we close here or lower, do not expect my next video to say, all right, we're going down. I would still say we're probably going to find a higher low and then we move up. That's where I'm at right now. You want me to be proven wrong? At this point, what it would take for me to accept defeat? Let me just see. I mean, if you get a day, what would it take? Let me see. Let me look at this 1 hour time frame. I would say if you get a day to close below $600, then we can talk about it, okay? If a day closes below $600, then we can talk about it. If you go, do not mistake that. If we go below 600, that's not the same thing, right? You could go all the way down to 525, but if the day is closing above 600, we're fine. If we close below 600, then I might be more open to the idea of us going lower. But even then, that doesn't mean that we're going lower. We could close below 600 today and still move higher. But that would open my mind up. Close below the golden ratio, and then we can open my mind a little bit, and maybe yours too, to the idea of going below this low to this being the high. Right? I just don't think that it is yet. Again, as far as a double top goes, this is a weird way to double top, personally, in my opinion. Right? I'm actually kind of curious. What do the Zcash liquidation levels look like? Let's just see. ZEC over the past day. A lot of shorts. We've got a double top, and there are more shorts than longs. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. Maybe we clear out some longs here. We go down to like 644. Right, we're at 652 now. Clear out those longs. About 13 million in longs, and then we can move on up. 30-day time frame. The shorts, look at how much the shorts are basically even with the longs. No, we're not done. we're not done at all. No, sir. No, not happening. Daily time frame. Looking at these indicators, we already did. Overall, they're bullish. I know there's bearish divergence, but overall, they're extremely bullish. Overall, very, 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 very bullish. Weekly time frame. Now, this is something to address. I do think this week will mark a top. I do think this week, I mean, who's to say? But perhaps what we do is from here, we go all the way up to our top target, and then we come back and still close this week red. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. But I would expect this week to be the top week because we have, right now, we have like a double top in the weekly RSI. Still, again, 6 days, 10 hours left in this week, so a lot of time left before we get the weekly close. It only looks like the RSI is pointed downwards because the week is red right now. If the week was green, we'd be pointed upwards still. Most of last week, we had a similar look. We were pointed down, but then at the end of the week, over the last few days, we actually moved up. We closed green, so it didn't point down anymore. Stochastics, MACD, weekly RSI, everything's bullish. Every single thing is bullish. And from a high to a low, the target area has been for a long time $711 to $925. We have interacted with this 711 zone multiple times, but I think we're going to push a little bit higher. And that largely stems from last cycle's bull market high to the bear market low, right? May 2021 to the bear market low here. That was our high. I would very much believe that we go all the way up to an $877 price. And depending on what chart you use, if you're looking at the Coinbase chart, that could translate, instead of 877, perhaps we find support or resistance, at $920. But somewhere in that range, right? 877, 920, 930, somewhere up there, directly correlated with our 2018 highs. That's where I think we're going to go. We'll find resistance there, and then we'll sell off. But again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. If I was holding Zcash, and let's say that I bought here, or I bought here. If I was holding Zcash, I might wait for this to go up a little bit more. But if I bought here, I bought down here, I bought down here, I'd probably be interested in taking profits right now, right? It's not a good time to buy. This right here is really not a good time to buy. But is it the best time to sell? Depends on where you're at, right? Depends on what you're going for. If you're in this for a short-term trade, then sure, it's probably not the best time to sell. But if you've been in this for a while, or if you're in it for a long term, I would say not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I would not want to be buying this. I'd want to be getting out. Because right now, while Zcash is on top of the world, the rest of the market is in shambles. You can take your gains and not just put them in something that's where it was, but put it at something that's at a discount. You're like amplifying your gains, right? Like just the smart move to do right now, if anybody's looking to buy Zcash, would actually be to not buy Zcash, but to buy something else, anything else, literally. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. But with that being said, I do believe that from here, $653, we will see something on the lines of a 30% pump or more, likely over the coming days, by the end of this week, by the end of this next 6-day and 10-hour period. And then as the cycle progresses, I'm very much anticipating that Zcash will see targets anywhere from about $2,500 to $10,000 by the end of the cycle, sometime in Q2 2026. That's the expectation. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you all for being here. Hit the like button, subscribe, and take care of yourselves, all right?